Hey guys, welcome back to the channel.
Hello.
Hi. All right, so it's been almost a week. We've been a little bit slow at doing this. It took a while to digest, but we're ready to discuss the Dreamcatcher Dystopia live band set. Yeah, so...
We're lucky. That was our second Dreamcatcher experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw them at KCON about 2-3 weeks ago. Technically it was live, so we could see them on stage. But this is our first OT7.
Yeah, Handong is back.
She's back. So yeah, it's taken pretty much the entire week to fully digest all the discussion points. And yeah, let's just dive in, share our thoughts.
Yeah.
All right. Well, firstly, for us, we are Dystopia babies. That's how we entered the fandom via Boca.
Screen. Yeah.
So we have a soft spot for the Dystopia series in general, and so far we've really liked those songs like Jazz Bar,
Break the Wall,
Sahara. Yeah. So for us, those are kind of go-to Dreamcatcher songs at the moment. We're working our way through the Nightmare arc at the moment, but yeah, the dystopian songs have a little sweet spot in our hearts.
Yeah. But this concert, we'll talk about it later. The Nightmare arc featured prominently, and it was we'll talk about it.
Kind of made sense. It's like the majority of their discography.
Yeah.
Weird if it hadn't.
But yeah, Dystopia though. Ooh.
Yeah, and we'd also had Red Sun before KCON, so we'd heard quite a few of them. And before the concert, we had listened to the Dystopia album and EP because we figured it would feature heavily. So for us, it was fun to see it. And that brings us to like Handong and how she fit into the whole thing, because she obviously was not there for the recording of the album and the EP or the promotions. So it was interesting to see how they were able to work with her to fit her into the songs. So that between like what part of the song she would sing, the line distribution, how she would fit in terms of the sound and the vibe, and I think they did a really good job with that. It felt like the song still felt like the original, but she had enough lines in each one that you didn't think, oh, she's not featured on it. But equally, I didn't really notice too much the people who had sacrificed their lines in order to include Handong. It kind of feels like they must have planned this in advance. When they were originally doing the distribution, I think they must have already had lines set aside from her.
Well, even in Boca, like the person in the mask in the video is supposed to represent like
Scream?
Or Scream.
Yeah, Scream.
So I think definitely they had known like, okay, these lines probably will be Handong's lines. And yeah, it is seamless because if you don't actually listen closely, you're like, oh yeah, you don't really distinguish it from the original MV or
no. I mean, you register it's Handong singing, but I'm almost like, wait, who had that line originally?
Exactly.
But they were able to do that, and also she got a nice distribution in terms of like kind of the parts of the songs that she would get. Like she got a couple of chorus bits, verse bits, kind of bridges and stuff like across the song. So it's like she's represented across the album. So that was nice to hear how she fit into those. But also, it was kind of amazing because she's only been back in Korea a short amount of time. And obviously she was in quarantine for at least 2 weeks, right?
Probably,
I think when we saw KCON, it was around the time she was coming out of quarantine. So she really only had
a few weeks,
2 weeks maybe to fully prepare with the group for this concert. So I'm assuming that she probably had already received videos of the dances and had kind of gotten the basics done, but you couldn't tell that there was one member who technically hadn't performed some of these songs before with them, right? I know she had a test run out at the drive-in with Scream and Boca, but I mean, you couldn't tell that she moved pretty much the same as the others. It was pretty seamless. And
I wonder if like when she was in China, she like got some people she knew to like sort of simulate, like practice with her. Like I'm sure because in the choreography, in the dance practices, like Dreamcatcher, they always have a stand-in for Handong. So I'm sure Handong But back home or back in China could like sort of fit in.
Yeah, but they have changed their choreography too, because they've changed it so she's the center, whereas the person who was holding her place before was always kind of more towards the back.
True.
And now she has center time, or she moves within the formation. So they as a group have had to readjust their choreography as well to accommodate it. And I think they've done a really good job. I don't think you could tell particularly that, you know, one of the team has been out for almost a year, right?
Yeah.
No rustiness there.
And it was our first time seeing some choreography for, like, say, Red Sun, I think, right? Or no, we saw the...
It was more for the Nightmare Arc. So, we saw... Obviously Fly High, and then the medley as well, which we'll chat about in a bit. But actually, no, that is what it's on our list next. The medley. Yeah, it was really fun. I know that for some Dreamcatcher fans, I'm sure you guys are disappointed not to get like full performances of those songs. But I think as 3 songs that could go together in a medley, right?
Yeah.
Those are 3 pretty cohesive songs.
If you didn't know those songs, you might even think, oh yeah, that's just one song, right? It's just so seamless. Yeah. And having the live band there for those songs, I think, really made a difference.
Well, I meant that they could play with the music a bit to make the experience a bit more seamless. But also from Dreamcatcher's side, the dancing, the choreography, to be able to like transition from one set of choreography into the next without us really being like, oh, they're changing it up here. It's pretty cool, right? Yeah. And actually, speaking of the live band, I mean, it's pretty fun to have an actual band that you're singing and dancing along to, right?
And they seemed like they really enjoyed it, like just the amount of interaction between them and the play off each other. And,
the guitarist seemed very into it. Did you see the riffing he was doing at the end? He was like...
But like the live band though, with for example the medley, I think it was or some of their like older stuff, I think, where it's very guitar heavy, is just perfect. Like... it's interesting because we obviously have heard most of them at this stage, the title tracks at least. And I think that having the live band for those, it kind of matures the songs a little bit in terms of sound. It's kind of like, you know, Dreamcatcher have matured as a group, and having the live music kind of brought those songs along in terms of maturity as well. Well, just as that mentioned, like I think a live band, there's just a raw quality to it that isn't like when you're in a studio or like a song, you know, on an album, it's very produced and everything sounds perfect. But having the drums and guitar and like, you know, just having the live instruments, there's a rawness and edge to it that is different from what you get from a music video.
It's kind of like they've refreshed the songs, you know what I mean, like it's like 2.0, but like it's I just really enjoyed it. I think I think it made their whole discography sound really cohesive. And even though like the discography has like, you know, evolved over time musically and lyrically and everything, it kind of, because it was the live band, it kind of gave everything such a cohesive sound and like
there's a through line.
And I think it brought their earlier stuff and like their later stuff together at a middle point where it's like, obviously everything's Dreamcatcher and everything sounds Dreamcatcher, but it kind of put everything in the same playing field so that I just thought it was cool. I really liked the live music, and the girls seem to really enjoy it too, right? They seem really into interacting with the bands and kind of having that kind of atmosphere.
Maybe they'll do more live band sets in the future.
That would be really cool. I think there was one song though, I noticed that it was a little bit harder to hear the girls. The audio was either their mics were a little low or the live band was a little high. But I think it was just one song I noticed that on. The rest of the time I didn't really notice anything like that. All right. And we saved the best for last. The solo stages.
Oh yeah, like that was fun. Like when it first was it the coffin? Handong in the coffin that like immediately started out. It's like what's happening?
She kind of reminded me of not a Bratz doll. Do you know those dolls? They're like Monster High dolls or something. They're kind of like, they were kind of shaped a bit like Bratz, but they were like pretty horror. Like they were supposed to be monsters or something. It kind of gave me that vibe like she looked really pretty, but she was I presume she was a vampire. It took us a good few songs though to realize that that section was pre-recorded and not actually happening live, because the way that they kept moving between them, I was like, wait, is it plausible that this is the same stage? And then I was like, nah, I don't think so. Especially later on with the major face paints and stuff. I was like, I don't think that came out off easily. But yeah, I think we started off quite like almost, well, I wouldn't say Han-Dong's set was sweet, but the song and her voice and everything was sweet. And then you had Jiu and Yuyeon, and they were Judy Hopps. They were
for the Halloween special from Card, they had a Judy Hopps and Woody costume.
Oh, they did, right? Yeah.
What is with why Woody and Judy Hopps, right?
And actually, when BTS did a run episode where they were doing some BTS weren't working, they were messing around, but they were doing some voice acting essentially, and one of the two of the characters they did it on was Toy Story and Zootopia. So maybe those are just very popular in Korea.
Or maybe like the companies have like rights to. Do they need rights or?
To use a fancy dress? I don't think so.
No.
To use it for dubbing? Yeah, you
maybe.
would. Anyway, we digress. We're talking Dreamcatcher the concert here. But yeah, so they were like the first three sets with Han-Dong, Jiu, and Yuyeon were really kind of sweet and kind of, they were just fun and lighthearted. And then Dami came storming on with her dancers, and she suddenly took it up an energy level, right?
Oh, yeah.
I have to admit, though, I didn't realize I knew she was meant to be like an executive, maybe. I didn't realize she was boss baby until much later. But yeah, she brought the energy up because she had dancers with her. So, and then Gayeon brought the energy another direction with her like saucy feeling up of her dancers and her table dance.
Yep. She was on the table.
We were feeling the heat. And then came Xion, who initially, at a glance, we assumed was Sua just because of the way she was moving. But then quickly realized, that's Xion. But it was so weird when she came on as Cruella de Vil. I was looking at the wig and her leotard, and I was like, this kind of reminds me of, visually, of Maddie Ziegler. From when she did the Sia dances
with the wig
and everything, and then which is obviously weird because Xi'an's like a full adult and was actually dressed as Cruella de Vil, who was looking the hottest version of Cruella de Vil I've ever seen. Let's be real, Cruella's not known for her hot looks.
Well, that dance was just like, it was, she could move.
It was. It was very captivating. And then you're kind of like, how is this going to be topped at this point, right?
How's it going to be topped? Well,
I think the moment that our brains stopped working.
I know. Like, what?
Sua was like, I don't know why she only had one hand. Like, oh my god. I don't know who came up with the idea of Hellboy Sua, or like how that became a thing, but she really committed with all the face paint, the horn, and just the whole it was a lot, and it had me questioning, like,
did that happen?
1, did that happen? 2, what happened? 3, how do I feel about this? Am I okay with this? Is Hellboy not kind of hot? Or not? I don't know. And then when they were doing the group together with the fancy dress, and Hellboy and Cruella de Vil were they were flirting a storm on the couch, and it's like, that's a couple I never thought of.
No.
Hellboy and Cruella de Vil, but they look good together.
I wonder if there's fan art now. That'd be steamy.
It probably is, right? But at that point, even though there was lots of music afterwards, I think that moment in the concert, I think, is the one that's going to like live on. Has Sua actually dressed as Hellboy before, or was this like new for Insomnius as well?
Was it a reference to something?
Yeah, like we were completely like, what? And then we stopped working at that point. Everything else afterwards became a bit of a haze. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. And it was also really fun to see like a couple of snippets from behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Like how they prepared.
I like that. Seeing them like with the practicing with the live band and then like dancing and then what do you call it? It must have been all like within the last few weeks, right? Because Handong was in there.
Yeah. So it must have been a really busy 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and they were still performing at KCON and the drive-in and stuff, so kind of crazy. But yeah, so that was our first ever Dreamcatcher concert. And yeah, it was a lot.
When's the next one?
We're assuming that they're going to do some end of the year performances, maybe on some of the TV shows and stuff. So we're hoping we'll get to see some more OT7 Dystopia stuff on that.
Well, I wonder with the Dystopia, the third part, will it be an EP or a full album or what will it be, right?
I don't know what it's projected to be, but I'm looking forward to it. Like, well, the most recent comeback was August, September, so maybe in the early New Year.
Yeah, maybe.
But anyway, so in conclusion, we enjoyed the concert a lot. It was worth getting up at like 6 a.m. to watch it. We are not morning people, so that was a lot of commitment for us. And we did it. And yeah, it was just really fun. And yeah, thank you guys for letting us know it was happening, because we might have missed it otherwise. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed our thoughts. Let us know in the comments what you thought of the concert. What was your highlights? Have we not touched on something that the fandom's like, this moment was amazing, and we have completely glossed over it somehow? Although I really think everyone was probably talking about Sua's Hellboy. That just had to be one of the main points, right?
Yeah, Sua, Xion.
Yeah.
A lot of the solos probably, right?
Yeah, I mean, the solos were all great. Also, when we watched Want afterwards, we recognized the dance moves then afterwards. Because they had like that iconic kind of...
Yeah.
And then I also realized Mira's video about disbandment. At the start, she has the scene from it's What, not Want. What. So that was fun. I was like, that's where that's been pulled from. And that's the dance that goes with that. It's like, it's all starting to come together.
Yeah. See how the pieces fit together.
I'm in my deja vu. Things are coming back. Anyway, so there you have it. A somewhat concise and also somewhat rambly. I think it's at this stage Stacey and Jeffrey's speciality, where we kind of we're a mixture of both. There's structure, but there's also rambling.
Rambling is what you're here for.
Oh well, yeah. If you're at this point of the video and you just heard that, then yeah, hi. But yeah, let's wrap things up. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you're not subscribed for some reason and you're at this point of the video, we invite you to formally do so. Subscribe. Anyway, thanks guys.
Thanks. Bye.